Hi, and welcome to Wrong Way! And this is the long-awaited KING-SONG 16X review. Let me tell you more about it. Wrong Way! By the way, if I look a bit tired already, I did around 25 kilometers on the wheel today, 25 kilometers on an e-bike, and still planning to do more. But anyhow, this is not the subject of this video. The subject of this video is the KING-SONG 16X. And as you can see, I'm pretty excited about it. First of all, this wheel is provided by www.mywheel.com. They sent me out this wheel for testing, and big huge thanks to you, MyEWheel, because I wanted to test out the 16X over a longer period of time since it basically came out. And if you want to support the channel and also get a discount, just use the code WRONGWAY at checkout if you buy a wheel at mywheel.com, and you will receive 5% off, and I will receive a small kickback from this as well. So awesome! Oh, and why should you get a wheel from mywheel.com? Well, because they provide you with customer service, with a warranty, and if they get a shitty wheel from KING-SONG that is not well assembled, they won't send it out to a customer. And by the way, this is, again, not a sponsored video. They totally did not ask me to say it. I just wanted to say it to you guys, so you know what you're buying. Yeah, let's get back to the video. And before we get into the meat and bones of this video, also a quick disclaimer. I am not attached to any brand, be it Godway, Emotion or KING-SONG. Like, I'm not a die-hard fan of any wheel. I basically choose the wheel for myself, which just rides the best or has the best characteristics or is the best compromise in my use case. So I do understand that specs aren't everything. And in this video, I'm also going to tell you what makes the KING-SONG 16X so special and why some of its traits are just not available on other wheels. But I'm also naturally going to tell you about the things I don't like that much and things other customers complained about. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. Let me tell you more about it. Again? Well, I guess so. Wrong way. Okay, so first a little overview. The KING-SONG 16X has been already out since around a year. It's a 16-inch wheel with a 3-inch wide tire, just like the Godway Nikola. It has a 2200 watt powered motor, a 84 volt system with a capacity of 1554 watt hours. Standard charging time is around 12 hours, but I will also tell you about the faster charging options later on when we talk about the features. It weighs around 24 kilograms and the top speed is limited with a tilt back to 50 kilometers an hour. Spoilers, I did 50.6 via UC World. It has a set of big, comfortable foot plates with actually decent sandpaper coating, front and rear LED lights, and the front lights are actually pretty cool because they have a focused beam and high beam, low beam, etc. But I will also explain this later on in the features. It has RGB lighting, a set of great speakers, a trolley handle, a lift sensor, basically all you need in an electric unicycle. Okay, so let's get into the performance of this device, and I gotta tell you, I did not think that I would use this electric unicycle that much, and I'm actually surprised by how it handles, how it rides, etc. in a positive way. Here you can see the acceleration of the 16X. Now note, I only did an acceleration test to 40 kilometers an hour. It was screaming at me that I'm overpowering it. Basically, this doesn't happen on Godway wheels, but anyways, to reach the top speed of 50 kilometers an hour, it's better to reach it slowly, not aggressively, because you might overpower the wheel and have a cutoff. Because especially if you're riding faster, you need to be really careful with this wheel. But it accelerates pretty well, it brakes also decently well. When you brake really, really hard, you can feel how the clacking but all in all, it's a pretty smooth experience. When it comes to hill climbing, well, I gotta say, I did not expect that.
Hi Mark, so you really wanted to see how I descend a 30-degree hill, right? So, I mean 35. I couldn't get any 35 today because it's wet in here and I don't really want to go down the hill when it's wet. But here I have the KING-SONG 16X. This is a 30-degree slope. So yeah, I'll just go down. Hop. Woo. Hop. Okay, now it's time to go back up again. Whoop. Whoop. Don't lose the grip, don't lose the grip. Okay, everything is fine. This here is 35 degrees steep. This is the limit of the nickel 100 volt or 84 volt, and we will see if the KING-SONG can handle it. Doesn't count. Yes, it can. And actually, it's noticeably more powerful than the Nikola. So, damn it. I have to find a steeper hill. Look guys, I have to be honest with you. I really don't like this place. I don't like climbing 40-degree hills and I don't like smashing up wheels, so oh man, let's just do it. First try! This thing is a beast! Ah, look at this boy! So powerful! Yes, you're a powerful boy. You are as powerful as the MSP. Impressive! Let me do that again.
Be cautious, overpower. Be cautious, overpower.
Okay, I didn't expect that. This was too easy. So it turns out we have a new 16-inch hill climbing champ. KS-16X, who would have thought? Impressive.
Now, the hill I was climbing there was around, I don't know, 3 or 4 meters of 40-degree slope, and at the end it was telling me that it was overpowered, but I didn't feel any tilt back, so if you're climbing 40 degrees for 3 or 4 meters, you're fine. I guess if you want to climb longer, then you would need a Godway MSP or MS 16S wheel. Tire had loads of grip. I could also hold the wheel really well with the new bigger side pads. So yeah, this is actually a really good climber and a really good off-roading wheel. But I'll tell about it more when we move on to the ride experience. When it comes to range, I did a single range test from 100 to 0%, but I also rode the wheel after that a couple of times just to get a feeling for the range of the KING-SONG 16X. So the range test, in the range test I did around 75 or 80 kilometers, 78 kilometers, which is really decent. And you might think, well, why does the 16X have a bigger range than the Nikola 100 volt on my tests? Well, the reason for it is that this wheel, it limits or restricts the power much more than a Galway Nikola per se. So especially if you're going faster, I'm really careful not to overpower the wheel, especially once you are down below 50%, it will tilt you back suddenly, and the KING-SONG tilt back is really aggressive, like it moves up really quickly. So in this range test I was doing it in the rain, so this is also a side factor to make the range actually smaller, not bigger. But according to the charts, you can see that I was riding between, I don't know, 20 to 40, 45 maybe kilometers per hour most of the time. So yeah, even if you do ride a Nikola, you can ride a Nikola slower and achieve the same results, but here you are sort of forced to do it. Another thing is that the discharge per cell in KING-SONG wheels is lower than on Galway wheels, so the total capacity of each cell is just a tiny bit bigger. But on the other hand, the Galway approach is safer because you have more buffer to not let the wheel cut off. The range test was really to 0%. It was tilting me back super hard at the end, and it was always screaming at me that it, please, low battery, please charge. And it's so annoying, it's so loud, and
your device is low battery, please charge it. Your device is low battery, please charge it. Please decelerate. Please decelerate. Your device is low battery, please charge it. Please decelerate. Your device is low battery, please charge it. Please decelerate. Please decelerate.
Once I got into my building, it was shouting at me, people were looking at me, it was really embarrassing. When I do my usual 25 kilometers, that's my trip to cycle and e-bike, I did this trip recently with my Galway MSS, and I gotta tell you that the average speed I have on this distance, I wasn't pushing the MSS really hard, and I was pushing the KS-16X hard. The average speed when riding with the KS-16X is around 34-35 kilometers an hour on this distance, and with the MSS it's around 37, 38 when you count in all the lights and stuff. So all in all, you will get faster from point A to point B on a Galway MSS. You will also feel safer at higher speeds. But when you just step back and look at the average speed and where you just lose time anyways, the speed is pretty similar. If you go 5 minutes earlier or 10 minutes earlier with the MSS, it's like not really such a big difference. So yeah, I like speed, but I also see why a wheel limited to 50 kilometers an hour also does make sense. Now let's move on to the most important thing, and this is the ride. And I gotta tell you, I didn't expect it to be so nice. So when it comes to just accelerating and decelerating, I like the Galway feel more. When you accelerate, the pedals on or foot plates or on Galway wheels just stay totally flat. On the KING-SONG 16X, they sort of like, they're just mushy. They walk around a bit, they move. You can get used to it, but that's not really the feeling I like when accelerating. But the good thing about this wheel is that it behaves extraordinarily well with pedal dipping. And this is the thing that annoys me the most about Nikola MSS and the Monster. So if you have a quick succession of bumps on the road and your wheel jumps up and down, or when you have a long turn, my MSS will have its pedals basically like this at the end, and I need to slow down, I need to watch out to let them go back to their normal position. And on the KING-SONG it also does dip a bit, but not as far as the MSX or Nikola. So I tried to show this to you via the GoPro recording you can see right now. I don't know if it's that visible, but it felt like a huge difference to me. And this is also why this wheel is so much fun off-roading. If you have a quick succession of bumps, if the wheel goes up and down and you want to turn left, right, you always want to have your pedals in one position. That makes the riding predictable, safe, and fun. And I gotta tell you that for off-road riding and exploring like below 30 kilometers an hour, this is really a great choice. I was going up a hill and I'm not sure if I would even go up there with a MSS. I mean, I probably wouldn't want to do it because it's a heavier wheel, a bigger diameter, and here with the 16-inch wheel and the lack of, or the lesser amount of pedal dipping, it was extremely a lot of fun. The tire had also a lot of grip, the Chiang tire, I think it's the CX321, and yeah, it's a great off-road wheel. Going upstairs is possible too, you know. Now it does still have pedal dipping, but it's way better than on a MSX, MSS, Nikola. I also really like the balance of the wheel. All in all, it's also really compact. The batteries are in the center of the wheel. They're not like in these huge blocks like on Gotway wheels, which are better actually for manufacturing, keeping the manufacturing cost down and possibly adding extensions. Here it's really like compressed, and the wheel is really like dense inside. But the balance is good. The foot plates are really high off the ground, so you can turn basically on a dime. And because it's like this much smaller than the Nikola, it's way more nimble. Like it feels like I just wanted to go on a skate park and jump a little, or it really brings out the fun part of riding a unicycle to me. It really reminds me of the V5F and of like really twitchy fun wheels of the Gotway M10-3. It really does not feel like a huge wheel. Also a bit about the bad stuff. I wouldn't recommend this wheel to anyone who just wants to ride about 35-40 kilometers an hour or wants to ride faster, because once you reach that speed, it is really like finicky, I want to say. When I went about 40 kilometers an hour, I have to watch out not to tilt too much. I have to really watch out for the tilt back, which sets in really quickly. I have to watch out for the beeps. I really don't like going with this wheel super fast. I feel way better on the MSS in these occasions. The wide tire also does change directions from time to time, like the Z10, like the Galway Nicola. You need to be aware of that, and you need to learn how to behave if this happens. But the best thing you can do for this is just lower the pressure. I ride my wheels at 35 psi, and then it is sort of okay. But if you do ride for a longer distance and you do ride above 30-40 kilometers an hour, you will get strain quickly. For longer rides, for faster rides, I would definitely recommend an 18-inch wheel. The best would be probably the MSS, MSX, and so on. Mickey from EVX also made a video about it. This is the speed throttling. Okay, so now let's move on to features. And the biggest headliner here in the features department is convenience. This wheel is really practical and it's really convenient. So let's start with the lights, okay? It's not just a light. It has high beams, it has low beams, you can turn on both high beams and low beams. You have a light sensor, and this is just great. I mean, if you go out with your wheel in the night, you just turn it on, you go into your elevator, the light dims down so it doesn't blind anyone who is in the elevator. You take it out, the wheel notices, okay, it's dark. It switches on the low beams. If you go faster than, I don't know, 10 or 15 kilometers an hour, it switches on the second light. It's great! It's really great! And the beam doesn't shine into the top of the trees like my MSS does. It's really focused and shines. One downside to it is that if you do ride in broad daylight, I also actually do like to turn my light on when it's bright outside. It doesn't do that. I have to press the button 3 times to go into the low beam setting. There is also a pair of red lights in the rear. I think they're pretty well visible, but they could be higher up on the shell and maybe a bit brighter. So yeah, the rear tail lights probably could use some improvement. And talking about the lighting, there's also the RGB lighting, which looks really cool. I love RGB. I don't care what you people say, you can turn off RGB, but let me tell you that if you ride in the night and you have RGB on and somebody sees you coming up to an intersection and notices you, this is a good situation. It's good to have RGB. If somebody doesn't notice you, you have a matte black wheel, you're all matte black, and does drive over you, well, that sucks. And there is a way to prevent that. Just wear colorful stuff and use RGB. You can program the RGB in the app, and the great thing about KING-SONG is that when you come into a stop, the RGB lighting changes into a battery indicator, and it's so good. By the way, if you do connect the wheel to the wall plug, it's always on, so you don't need to go to the wheel to check what is the charge or the state of charge of the wheel. You can just open your app, connect to the wheel, check it, and you're done. A different thing you can do, you can connect the wheel to the wall plug and turn it on, and it will always show you the battery percentage like with the RGB when it's charging. It's so convenient, it's so easy. The next great thing is the trolley handle. Well, I know it looks like a luggage, but come on, it's so practical. When I roll up to a shop, I just flick the pedal on one side. I immediately grab the trolley handle already when riding. I pull it up, I flick the second foot plate, and I'm done. I can go into the shop. The trolley handle also has like 2 height settings, and it locks in place, so it doesn't like fall down by itself like on the MSP, the Tesla, or the Gotway MCM5. This is a great feature. I mean, it's super cool. The lift sensor is also in this trolley handle, which is good and bad, because if you have the trolley handle extended and you want to lift the wheel, it's really simple, you just lift it. But if you go down a steep slope or up a steep slope you can't climb, you have to really watch out not to pull the trolley handle too powerfully, because you might just disengage the motor, and then it does rattle a bit, but you know, that's to be expected. And in many instances, if I would go into a park where I can't ride, or if I would go to a shopping mall where I also can't ride a electric unicycle, I would more often than not choose the KS-16X over my MSS, because it's just so much more convenient. Foot plates, they're big, comfy, they fold out easily and they fold in easily. One thing I have to note here is that they have a pretty sharp edge at the bottom, and I hit myself in the foot quite a couple of times, so this might be something to change, or I just need to watch out more. And one side of the pedal actually does squeak a bit. Not really sure why. I also really like the padding on this wheel, and the padding was something that was upgraded over the lifespan of the 16X. It's now wider. I really do like it. Also, the other shape of the shield around the unicycle is padding as well. So even if you ride with shoes that are below your ankles, it's really comfortable to ride this wheel anyway. The padding is really good. To ride really hard, you obviously do need some power pads or Kuji pads, but out of the factory it's really good. Well, you can climb 40-degree hills with it, so yeah, it's pretty cool. It also has a mud guard, and I didn't ride this thing in the rain, and it still works, so, just to get it out there. But I can tell that the rain protection or dust ingress protection here is not maybe perfect, because yeah, even though the mud guard is there, still a lot of water, dirt does spray onto the shell of the wheel and into the speaker compartment in the rear, so this is really suboptimal. There's also a small gap where the foot plates are mounted and the axle mount goes into the wheel, so this is also suboptimal. I saw a couple of 16Xs with really a lot of dirt inside after 2,000 or 3,000 kilometers. Now this is a thing that changes from generation to generation of this wheel. There are many iterations of the 16X, and every next one keeps getting better. So after 5,000 kilometers on my Nikola, there was not a single piece of dust inside here. Well, I don't know, we would just have to find out. I also did see a 16X which had the light up front covered in mud from the inside, like with dust, so yeah, but maybe this was the first batch. And KING-SONG wheels also do have their infamous software updates, and this is a really great thing. I saw in my unboxing video that there were like so many versions of the firmware for the KS-16X, and just check Jan Svoboda's comment there. He tells you all the differences between this software version and this one and this one and this one. Well, I didn't want it to go through all of these, I'm sorry. I just took the one that was delivered in the wheel, delivered to me. It was the firmware version 1.08, which was for testing for distributors. A great example of this software update is also the case with the KING-SONG 18XL. So you can probably remember that the KING-SONG 18-inch wheels had this annoying whine to them, like a high-pitched whine, and with a software update they actually removed the sound. And this was actually one of the reasons why I didn't get a KING-SONG 18XL, because this whine was just so annoying to me. It was a wheel I also traveled with a lot, like I put it into a car and got out with my friends, because it's easy to lift, it's smaller than the MSP, and yeah. It's just super convenient to carry with. It doesn't have any visible screws, which is a good side and a downside actually, because, well, it looks really cool. There are like no screws, it looks so modern. But if you want to get access to the wheel, or if you just want to change the tire, by the way, EVX and Davastato have great videos about changing the tire of the wheel, then you have to actually peel off the padding which is on the side of the wheel. Now if you do it carefully you might not damage it, but you also might damage the padding. So this is the downside to these hidden screws. I think the shell, all in all, might be a bit more fragile than the Nicholas or the Godway MSPs. I saw cracked shells of the KING-SONG 16X. I think all in all you have to watch out, maybe a bit more, be a bit more careful with the 16X. It did fall down a couple of times during my testing. It has a couple of scuffs, but nothing major. These weren't also too major like speeds, but all in all I think especially the Nikola, when talking about 16-inch wheels, is a more robust and a more durable construction than the KING-SONG 16X. I really dig the design of this wheel. I also didn't expect it to be so actually dark. I thought it would be like gray, but it's like almost black. I like the carbon-esque look of the plastic of the 16X, and I think like actually it might be one of the best looking wheels I had for testing till this day. I think it looks really cool. Also in the night the LEDs look really cool. So now on to the conclusion. I didn't think that I would use this wheel this much. It's a wheel where I basically don't need to get off of it at all. So every time I would go onto a red light with my MSS, I just stand there. And on the 16X I try to stand, I try to go backwards, go a little turn, loop around some kind of shape, and it's just so cool. It's so nimble, and it's also very stable at lower speeds. So for a very heavy wheel, which is like 24 kilograms, it feels really nimble. I wish it came with a faster charger right out of the box, but it does have twin charge ports. You can reduce the time down to 6 hours with twin charges. And if you would use a 6 amp charger, you could get this time down to what, like 3 hours. And this is the minimum charging time that you would get out of this wheel. And I think these fast chargers are also available at mywheel.com. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. So in many cases, if I would just to go and throw out the trash or get a kebab or go grocery shopping or go to the post office, I mostly used this wheel instead of the MSS. And I gotta say, I didn't think it would go to this, but I will really miss this wheel once it goes back to mywheel.com. And actually this very version will be available at mywheel.com for a stunning price of 1,600 euro. So yeah, you can get that at mywheel.com. Obviously they will check that once it goes back. They will, you know, just check the shell, or maybe even like you know, replace the shell for anyone that doesn't have any cracks. If you are searching for a wheel that is like most fun below 40 kilometers an hour, and sometimes to just reach the top speed, but have the greatest convenience, the best lighting, a good speaker. Oh yeah, the speaker is as loud or a bit quieter than the new generation of Godway speakers. They have a really nice sound, and they also don't hum or don't overdrive like the first generation of KING-SONG 16Xs did. But it's cool that the lights actually do match the sound, so the louder the music gets, it will actually show you the equalizer, and there are also many presets to how the music interacts with the RGB lighting. Oh yeah, and there are also several settings of the RGB lighting. I didn't tell you about that, sorry. But anyways, I will really miss this wheel once it goes back to mywheel.com. And if you're still here, leave a like on the video subscribe to see more content like this.
I'll see you
In the next video. See you soon. Hello!